inch knives or knife, whatever. Oh, the morning, Mr. Simple, Mr. Simple. More simply, 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 David. Mr. Inch, it's February 8th, this is February 26th, 2026, this is Sunday. In Naples, today are totally cloudy, white cloudy, more green and white. It's not more green and white. So in general, grey, white grey, scattered in general, and it also seems now. And it's also wind, golden TV, and see the view, perhaps more even and gold, golden TV. And also at the same time, it seems to now. It's between early afternoon 13 and 57 minutes. 57 to Fahrenheit 14 Celsius, in cool. Visibile sfaccolsi classica agenti sui riferimenti via su straporzo fuori a sicuro e sui consigli effetti centri nella sua stazione sventina su actori di porcano riasso che quasi passa summer in generale summer passa summer sarà per non rimane frivolo vino un gas per summer think body su actori di porcano riasso che due to now for the winter come superiore size on December 21 in particolare in 16 for 3 pm in Italy ora sarà per non rimane frivolo body sono body c'è su poi sentite Misura, to essi di M5 così, so sostanzialmente ma propose che categoria 112 si battono per applicare la for me. Di adesso in integration su the spring some minuti si fa for spring su se soft for summer ci si out for the auto once again ci soft sono soltanto in genere per lo stesso repire sa che si cagiti a 0 degrees at least minimum significant da absolute in complain better is be not because it's winter it's cool so we complain or should complain but when I think this sentence all the sense absolutely we can complain I'm referring what is referred to me in particular in this video rely on for this video for the fact that or thanks to the fact that I don't feel cold I might feel cold less and then the other people thanks to the practice but to practice following those in some switch also factor if I cold when come winter period winter ports period I will start to come check as being utilized practices think as I wrote it for weeks ago in fact on the first part of questo comment with an asterisk so if someone is stressed from what is practicing think is the first part of it first comment with an asterisk non lo fosse più non si finco tutto se fa che il cold finalmente finco io sono si penso tanto fin 95% di cold avere in genere in some way for me what's good stia the battle scatto situazione già absolutely I can say something just for it's really bad at least can be feel some of things on this Nigeria after I think at 3% si divide for fisicamente Fahrenheit 14 Celsius importante in questo mensile ci vedi se fuori devi dire essere curteni sono delle curteni già sembra iniziando alla città siamo perfetto questo suppose fa cangiare sempre ripeto di sky totally 3 gradi ripeto proprio stessi morghi calling Guttarin and considering la studies calling considering consistency residents I think it's practically sure essere non sure that late night after the study il afternoon but between early late afternoon might became darker bleaker and also that material from the performance so I also can say to i verlini faccio 5 very close to in general let's see we see what happens ora per te non studio a sulle sendo sono in transition su Wizards si può significantly as come skin today richiamo band so si sono quindi ogni volta portiamo in frase mix to plans in cortin sta magari magari sono un perfetto da Beus è particolare da parte ma di per le basi fatte con il new cortin meeting si di one come secondo section so si chiede come secondo section should be one to the first one to prefer to one of them fiori di come section I don't know if you can see not as it will finish shot in abbiamo in front from late finco yes See the green flowers, longer flowers, mixed into the plants. I don't know where. Or, if not, even better, surely better, such automatic is the first part of video which Ferruccio ha scelto lui, dovete scattare sia già scazzi con Mythical Win e scazzi con Mythical Room, perhaps uno delle sue Mythical Win che ha da Mythical Room. No, also, the broader perspective, also the design pratica is a shot similar to classic shot of componenti as go for the press curtain, repeat before beautiful grey curtain and beautiful pentagram benches, appunto first curtain nostro lavoro, poi fare la curtain infantry ma exactly si surely, care curtain stile in core mince recentemente, quando sono in damage vicino città, vabbè, also seeing this shot so related to fact above when this and the glory shooter, also when there is but more when this effect is measured. Now si vede little speech sentence, so in case of press curtain repeat, beautiful grey curtain, beautiful pentabench, but also in case of professor curtain, care curtain first in case of remember exactly this and also in case now I see the details for the curtain, sorry but repeat expression also in case for 5 times. Yes, this little speech sentence is this, but also always better visible for me. It's entirely in this shot, this one significa la general shot. La sega dei conosciuti in ottimismo ottimistico ottimismo sforzi del black sottopola si porta in teoria per supporto del tutto tutti ottimismo non si rende sufficiente su tutti questi also for it per fare lo script so repeat once again but also and always better visible for me it's entirety in this shot si wants mythical regeneration and finally con mythical keyboard and GX 740 EPG 635 also in the case of me and generation nata giocando da su new shot film exactly to Saturday Go Saturday January 24 new shot in you can see briefly what are the actual condition of the keyboard since 1 year and 2 months it was the December 2nd that keyboard that's in easy condition as regards the light in particular yes. Ritmo di piccolo sulla facendo dei pezzi stati sono belli mesi sono myself and rest of the skills and finally I hope you like at the breakfast today it's really late in general so nice can I say late in performance if it's repeating since last September 21 it's occasion for the first time it's late in general to people all the people and ball from the record but not at all from my house because my house sto accadendo con ormai big breakfast this house but seguita mezzo but all important is that it's very different reaction sometimes 3 to start in fact back as Fianten submit restart with Fianten at drinking milk at Fianten in part with it was yes so you can record this some streets stage very bit close to the close the record let also owners at this phenomenon more than yes is just before they're just probably obviously just in code at 13 and 57 minutes. But the important thing is should see me set in some way also today for 40 minutes I'm really angry. And as I will say breakfast sono most beautiful food. Absolutely. And as you know since I'm also really better at 7 more than 1 year I was lose lo strokons think like effect of the X formalism. Friday also di non uniso but sono better see the X formalism it was 5th also but it was beautiful black red black and also white and slightly fit more in comparison with the so remember to me the first one also but it was also get second all things that no perhaps if they follow me on someone for me in Friday so whatever think about body so sono body which in general my videos after the pizza, she should be done. The period, but I promise you that one day or one time he check better you press the attention stately to the things o meglio di speech e frasare un shot of using to joke su solito che mastomonia soziale su frasare biscuits la mia fette fa tra me in più sul combo su visual biscuits and see as I think it on a mezzo not facing types of biscuits chocolate chip cookies the cookies chips chocolate chips and if not mistake was for to biscuits message ma nothing particular, nothing terrible, say red, there is a story about milk fact, treason shots, only when it's treason shots, non che si coffee, tossens quick chocolate, fact, lo shot fragment video, sa shot ne influence think, se ne ti mostro se che lo sto con business di più, sono in Italia per esempio, lo money is quick, finish and now once mi sono tutti once vi I think 219, 20 days, also si chiesa lo sto conto, ci mi senti più, sono in tempo per esempio, e so senza trattamento da te ai patri, in certe ditte, che ne milk so per i news. Quindi se usi fake cosa breakfast, questo è buono, ma si in particolare mega buono, ma sono si chiesa, si pide, gioco, lo so che massimo, sono mania, so per questo mi figo, questo tempo, se avete video, e finziamo in su che si è tolle, in cosa breakfast, questo è mega buono. Se contengo se si è fatto, e infidare, si è stare da Conad, Italian Sea, anzi, mi sarà a second place position, also seguito, vamo a first place position, but già second place position, because after this place position, for me, da Italian Palm Dark Chocolate Chip Series, a cosa, a due come nel motivo, because they are really super bar. Sì, tumore, se poi fare, sto muore tutto quello di lepre, ti metto il lepre, ma ora sì.